Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is actually the third time I've tried to record this tonight. The first time I drove out across Deepin to take my gym, the gym that I always take on Pokemon Go. I've got a rival who on Mondays at 6:30 will attack the gym, take it from me, and I try and defend it, and we always get stuck in this kind of battle of him trying to take it and me trying to defend it. Sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't. Today it had a raid on when I drove through to stop and take it. So I knew that he was probably going to be taking it around 6:30, so I drove the 1.5 miles across town. I pulled up just as he was riding off on his bike, and I thought, brilliant, I can start attacking. I can see him riding, so I started attacking, but apparently he saw me pull up, so he just rode around the corner and then just kept healing. But because you can only heal 10 times, I just let him heal 10 times and then took him out anyway. I started recording next to it thinking, well, I'll do the video here, and it was just odd. People I knew come by and I stopped recording to talk to them. A heron landed at the locks and kept jumping into the water and getting fish and coming back out, so I kept getting distracted at the corner of my eye, and I tried to film it, but I didn't get any footage of it. I'll double check, but I don't think I did. It was just really fascinating seeing it just dip in, because you'd think that they'd fly for ages and then swoop down every now and again, but this was just standing on the side, jumping in face first, seeing what it could get. I did then try and record a few times, but I kept messing it up, having a shaky hand or whatever. It's harder to record in the car. But yeah, that kind of leads on nicely to what I wanted to do a video about tonight. Nervousness. The amount of finales and big events happening this blooming month is wrecking my nerves. We had obviously a massive Endgame thing last week with the Avengers. No spoilers from me, obviously, but I don't know if I mentioned, I know everyone I know was laughing because I kept saying I was worried about needing the loo during the 3 hours that the film was on. I didn't want to have to miss any of it, and I really wanted to get in there without being spoiled. I went way overboard on this. I deleted all my social media apps. I didn't speak to anybody I knew who might talk about the film who was seeing it at midnight. I was working from home because of the stuff with Ollie, so didn't come into contact with anybody. When Claire got in, we rushed straight out the door. We got to the cinema, and as we're walking in the door, a little kid asked his mum a question about the film because they'd just seen it, and she answered really loudly. And what she said sounded like massive end of the film spoilers, and I was so gutted, and I was being really melodramatic, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was all going around in my head over and over again, loop, telling me, whatever she'd said. And I tried to push it. Claire's like, just forget about it. Just go in, forget about it, push it out your brain. And I couldn't do it. It was driving me nuts. And then about 3/4 of the way through the film, I suddenly thought none of the stuff she said had happened. And after the film, none of the stuff she said had happened. And I don't know what she was talking about, but nothing she said happened. None of it affected anything. I feel like she misunderstood the film or was just making up answers for a kid. But either way you look at it, I got away with it without getting spoiled, which is fantastic. But it made me think, we're living in a really bizarre period. I know that Kev talked about this on Twitter. He kind of highlighted a lot of my concerns and worries by saying that he was worried that lots of loose ends are being tied up for him lately. And we watch a lot of the same stuff, so I'd already been feeling that. But I'd been feeling it a bit longer because, for me, it feels like football, for example. Tottenham haven't won anything yet, but they've just started at a new stadium. Their old stadium closed. They're just constantly second, third, getting to the semi-finals. We've just hit the semi-finals of the Champions League, and it feels like they're just about to achieve something in the next sort of 5 years, something worthwhile. I've got my entire life waiting for them to do it, and I'm kind of just like, the nerves of wondering whether they could pull something off, watching them fail again and again and again, is really surreal. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to watching this happen. And the thing with Endgame was the big worry that, oh, what if it's a flop? What if the film's really bad? What if the ending's really terrible? And then I feel like it's kind of left a bad mark on all the other 22 films for me. But it was perfect. I come out of the cinema thinking that was a perfect ending. That was exactly my ending. That I'm happy. It was funny. It was it was exciting. I had no idea what the story was going to be like. I had no idea what the characters were going to do. Every part of it was new and fresh and brilliant to me. It was nothing like the comics. I was absolutely blown away. We've got Game of Thrones ending, and I remember saying to Kev that one of my biggest fears was that I was going to die before it ended. And not knowing how the books end or whatever, after all the time I'd spent reading and watching and talking about it, and my mates are obsessed with it, so I've really kind of got a lot of people that are into it. And here we are, after tonight's episode, we're 3 weeks away from the end of the whole thing, and I'm just like, wow, this is ridiculous. And it's, again, making me weirdly nervous, but not too bad. I think the thing with me, and I'll be the same when it finishes, I want to get up at 2 a.m. and watch it so I don't get spoiled and all of this. But I know that I'll be worried the whole way through that I'll need to leave the room. At least I'll be able to pause this one. But I felt really good that I proved I didn't have to leave the cinema during Endgame. I managed the whole 3 hours just watching the film. I was so engrossed by it. Something I'll be able to do Endgame. But it's the same sort of thing. If Spurs somehow, tomorrow they have the semi-finals. If we get to the finals of the Champions League, I don't think I'll be able to handle that. I think that's a bridge too far. And it feels like if we won that would be them closed off. I think I'd just stop watching football. It's not going to get better than that, a shock win. I don't want us to be kind of Man City level of being excellent at football and then win it and just think, we knew we were better than everybody else. This is the best way to win it. If we don't now, that's it, never mind. Any other time we'll just be good and expected to, I don't know. So yeah, it's a weird feeling having stuff all coming to an end. I've got other things ending too, like Wicked and Divine, the comics has got 2 left, so that's got 2 months left to go. Paper Girls is ending. I've been following a few things. I think Arrow and the Arrowverse is finishing next year. Well, Flash and that are carrying on, but it won't be the same without their main show. And it feels really odd. I feel like the point I was thinking about when I was mulling over this video was, I feel like I'm coming to like the end of a phase in my own life. Like it's the end of the Marvel phase 3, but I feel like it's like I'm 34 this year, and I'm just finishing my 10th year of marriage on Thursday. So I'll do a video about that on Wednesday. I'm thinking, I bought a house. I'm in my car right now. I've got a job I'm happy with. My kids are all growing up. It feels like all of the setting the groundwork stuff is done. That's how it feels like Tottenham are as well. The groundwork stuff is done. They've just got to achieve something now. I'm drawing a lot of parallels with the football club here now because of like decades of just doing nothing and achieving nothing. That's me and them. It feels really bizarre. It's just, it's mulling around in my head. Like there's lots of loose ends tying up. I don't think I want to get into new shows. I know I will end up doing so, but I don't really see me getting into any other shows in a kind of event driven way that Game of Thrones has done it. I don't see there being any cinematic universes that pull off what the Avengers have pulled off. Even though they're going to carry on doing phase 4, 5 and 6, I don't feel like it's going to be the same as it has been for these 3. I just feel like this was the story they set out with at the beginning. That's that now, it's done. So it's just a weird one. I don't feel like there's going to be any books that will do the massive draw. It'll always be compared to Game of Thrones. It'll always be compared to the Avengers. I'm hoping, as I say, that Spurs will achieve something soon while it's a shock, so that they won't be compared to just other big teams or whatever. I don't know. That's a bit of I'm shoehorning that one in. But no, it feels like it's really exciting times at the moment. And I'm sort of learning to cope with it because I'm not very good at the whole being so excited about something I'm going to pop kind of thing. And that's basically how I've been this month. It feels like it's been non-stop. I'm just buzzing from one thing to another, constantly trying to avoid spoilers, constantly trying to consume it as quickly as I can to avoid being ruined. And I think we're really lucky. I think we're living in really good times. I feel like, we had it. The only other times I've ever really witnessed something like this that I watched from start to finish, I didn't get on the bandwagon for Lost or Breaking Bad at the start. I got on a bit late on the both, and then caught up and watched them all and got to see the finales. But it didn't feel like I had gone on the journey with everybody else. Whereas I feel like I've been at Game of Thrones since the beginning. I've been on Iron Man and everything since the beginning. The comics are midway through. I've been following them for years. But it's just a weird, interesting time. I don't know that I want to do this again and again and again. I feel like this is a time and place thing for me. 1999, 2019, and then maybe 2020 onwards, I'll just start delivering stuff. That'll be good. I'll start doing stuff instead of witnessing stuff. I don't know why I said it that way, but that's the best way to sum it up, I think. I'd like to just move on from spending my evenings watching hours and hours and hours of stuff and just do stuff instead. I don't know. I'm doing the writing. I'm doing the videos. Maybe that's a good sign. Excuse me. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a random video about that. I thought the week's been going fine. Ollie was back at school fine. Anniversary Thursday. Spent the weekend at IKEA. Bought some Kallaxes, which I butchered one of them. Butchered one of them to hell. I couldn't get the little wooden bits in the holes, and I hit one in with a hammer and it came out the other side of the bloody shelf. One snapped in half. We've kind of put them together in Ollie's room in such a way that you can't tell I've butchered it. The holes are in the bottom. The one that split is just balanced just right. It's all good. But yeah, it's been a weird weekend. I feel really buzzing because, as I say, Endgame I felt was brilliant, and I'm excited about the whole Game of Thrones ending stuff. So I'm going to wrap up now because I need to go and edit this, put it online, and then start watching it. But just thought I'd touch in with everything. Seems to be really exciting and cool at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. Let me know how you're finding all these endings. If you've seen Endgame and you want to chat about it and no one's letting you, hit my DMs on Twitter at RB6K. Yeah, just I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, because this is amazing. It does feel weird. I get completely what Kev's on about loose ends and everything tying up. I'm reveling in it because I feel like I'm getting a lot of free time back, and if I avoid new programs and new content, I might, as I say, achieve something better. But I equally feel odd that lots and lots of stuff is tying up, and I don't want the universe to package it all away and then leave me with nothing, because Kev's convinced he's going to keel over at some point and he's going to be complete, but I don't want that. I don't want any of us to have that. Anyway, on that awful note, I'm going to wrap up. I'm sure it's all fine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Cheers.